Oh, shit. Sound mobile fix. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. A Chu in the middle lane. Burst Strike catches him out. The shrapnel, and the Chu will go down. I'm so sorry about that, guys. At least I didn't leave the draft, and you didn't miss anything. Pikachu will now be hit out. The headshot hitting him pretty hard. The Crystal Maiden also slowing him down, and there's the last charge of darkness. Chu will be getting that kill, or sorry, Pikachu will be dying there to Nisha and the damage of Singularity. Sorry about that. I actually completely forgot about it. I don't know why. I'm so used to unmuting it that. I don't know, just slipped my mind this time. So very, very sorry. You didn't hear the cast for the first minutes, but at least you didn't miss anything, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. At least my camera control was okay, and my voice came back when the first blood came back. So I do apologize for that. I did fix that already. Luckily, nobody saw. Let's just assume that never happened, okay? The recording, just forget about it. Just forget about the first 4 minutes. But I do apologize. All you missed was a bit of analysis. Essentially, the idea that both Singularity... Actually, I was talking about this a lot. Singularity wants to win the early game. Anji's looking for that middle game. And obviously, Singularity is winning the early game for now. Yeah, please. I like it. I like it. Potato, keep casting on chat. I like that. I like that. I like the viewer interaction. Ah, what a noob mistake. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Usually, like, sometimes I'll leave a delay on or whatever, or a drafting on. That's the first time that I forgot to mute myself completely. It's way too excited because got a nice text and no, anyway. Patos Thunderstrike and Glimpse available, but oh, Kakor was looking for this kill. However, Chu comes in, Berserk on the 2, and the Blade Fury slicing them up to bits. Patos cannot withstand this damage. He's gonna go down to Sadoy, and Kakor still wanted to get the kill onto No Fear, is not gonna find Chu instead. The Crystal Nova will save his life, and now Kakor actually evades the Berserk. Sadoy has no way of evading this damage. He does have the healing ward to heal him up though, and Chu is fighting with all his might, trying to kill this Grandma Crystal Maiden. Is he gonna have the damage? The Caustic Finale did hit her, but it's only gonna pop in the last second, leaving her with 40 HP and allowing Team Singularity to get away there for free. They will be getting that kill onto the Disruptor, which is they're quite happy for. They don't kill off Juggernaut, whatever. It's not really that big a deal. The whole point is that they got a kill for the Doom and for their Doom that died, and that's fine. And utilizing again the Spirit Breaker very aggressively. Going on to No Fear. Infernal Blade deals a ridiculous amount of damage level 1. But of course, Patos will survive it. Yeah, finally. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't reading the chat. I wasn't reading the chat at all. And there's a 2-minute delay, so that's why. Once I saw you guys saying, I was like, oh, right, towards the chat. Well, that happened. Sorry about that. But like I said, glad we're back. Glad we're back. Luckily, we haven't missed most of the game. It's a best of 5, so there's still a lot to go. Right, Chu, careful. Elijah will be finding him. There's a Frostbite. Oh, they see him. They see him. That sentry will destroy him completely. Burrow Strike onto 2. It's not bad. It's a level 2 Burrow Strike. Deals a considerable amount of damage. But of course, the Crystal Nova makes it hard for Chu to make it out of here alive. Goodbye. Kako getting the last hit. And in fact, Patos also gets the last hit onto No Fear while all this was happening. He was just harassing him with Infernal Blade. And of course, the Scorched Earth. First thing he said is, oh shit. Yeah, I realized that problem. That was just a very genuine problem. I like you guys very much. You guys are very nice viewers, by the way. I'm very much enjoying this. As I understand now why they cast the EU. Right. Chu with Tranquil Boots is walking up. Grabbing, putting a little ward here. Look how defensive the wards have to be against Singularity. They know that the Spirit Breaker is coming. It's actually a really good ward to see the Singularity rotations. However, look how offensive the ward by Singularity can be. Oh, wow. That is an offensive ward. I mean, that is not even here. It's not even... Okay, Kakor is just charging him, and the Crystal Maiden is running. Run, Elijah, run! Trying to get the kill on Pikachu. All they need is the Empowering Haste to, you know, get her and help her out. But Kakor can just not get that kill against Pikachu. He has boots. Kakor does as well, but for some reason that Empowering Haste was not good enough, and the Shadow Fiend will just make it out alive. Didn't get the lucky 17%, so of course, in this case, the Shadow Fiend will survive. Anji pretty content with that. Honestly, 3,000 net worth loss in minute 7. That's exactly what Singularity was looking for this whole time. Better than Toby 1. Thank you. I listened and missed First Blood. But yeah, the power by Anji here is, again, like I said, in the mid game. The power by Singularity is in the early game, and I'm not getting tired of saying this because their early game is working wonders. But of course, this is expected. There's nothing much you can do against this kind of draft. And oh, the shrapnel plus the damage from the sniper just going to completely obliterate the Sanking. However, they get a Crystal Man as a result. Support for support. Sure, it's position 5 for position 4, but at this point, do you really care? Their net worth is equally as bad. So Singularity, I guess they lose a bit more because they're winning, but it's not really that big a deal. You see net worth not really going in their favor. Now No Fear finds Kakor. They could glimpse him, but they don't want to. There's the kinetic field. Catches Kakor in a very terrible position. The first raise, they just want to start hitting him. Burrow Strike also stuns him out, and Pikachu with a medium raise to finish off the Spirit Breaker. And that is them recovering ever so slightly in the net worth. Not bad. Anji, in all honesty, are not doing that badly considering how strong Singularity's Ralph was in the early game. That Crystal Maiden, that Spirit Breaker, a Troll Warlord to dominate the lane, a Doom, the new and improved Doom to actually dominate the lane against a Juggernaut. It was a very clever idea, but of course, now that we're getting more into the mid game and the rotations are much more prevalent, and more importantly, now that your carry has level 60, you can rotate much more efficiently. It's not that easy for Team Singularity to just get these kills, because now the CIS style will really come into full faction, and we're going to see the glory of Russian Dota. Oh, wait, never mind. Fuck the glory of Russian Dota. Chu just missed his Burrow Strike. Now, Versidoi has an Omni Slash. An Exotic Deer is going to try to TP away. They have no way of breaking this. They wasted Omni Slash all in a TP. Ends up being successful. And now Pikachu in the mid lane is actually going to go down to the power of Singularity. So, okay. Like I said, they are recovering slightly, but again, and the beauty of CIS Dota is there. You want to start ganking with both your cores, but of course, it's still a bit hard to deal with Singularity. And will the charge hit in time? No, no fear has nothing to fear, and he just TPs back to base. Actually, I just realized this. 489 Troll is actually quite insane. He's had a free lane the whole time, pretty much Exotic Deer, because the Darkseer couldn't do too much. And of course, Troll Warlord that can switch between melee and rage, so he has no problem with staying in the lane against, say, Darkseer. And if we look at the levels, you can see the difference that the knives are making is actually not that much. The 30% difference. The Shadow Fiend still has gotten a decent amount of experience. The Sniper as well. But if you consider that Troll is actually matching the mid laners in terms of experience, yeah, you can see it's a whole level that he pretty much gained from all those denies. That 58 denies is not a joke, and he's actually been taking away a lot of farm from the Darkseer, who's much less farmed than the Doom. That's something that you usually not expect, especially with a Doom like Patos, who decided to go for Scorched Earth first rather than the Devour. Mind you, Scorched Earth got buffed considerably, so this is a really good choice, but of course not going for Devour is going to be kind of hefty here. Okay, Kalkor's hitting pretty hard. Now the Crystal Nova, they stopped the surge completely, so Yoku has no way of escaping, but the Iron Show starting to, the damage starting to pile on. Finally, the Greater Bash comes out, but Kalkor will survive for now. They even Iron Show the creeps to deal a bit of extra damage. And in the end, the Darkseer is not going to die here, because Yoku is fighting right under tower. And he's only level 5, it's kind of weak for him that the Spirit Breaker is as strong as he is. In fact, he might just reach level 6 around the same time as Spirit Breaker. But the push is started by Anji, and they're going to take advantage of this team fight potential they have. Group up as 4. Either go for smoke ganks with 3 people, or just constantly push towers with 4. You have a Juggernaut to give you healing. You have a Shadow Fiend just to push the towers because he has a lot of natural damage. And you have the team fight for the Sanking. So what's stopping you? Nothing. Really, that's what they have to do. It's actually the right plan. Good job. And now the Spirit Breaker coming in with a charge. Probably going to catch up Pikachu. Yeah, he also has a ton of experience on him. And oh, careful Pikachu. There's 36 stacks onto him. And they mute him. There's the Doom. Oh, Static Storm beautifully, though. Now Omis does well to catch up both of them. What are these two big, beefy guys going to do against the power of lightning? No fear. Completely crushes them there with a Disruptor. And they punish that aggression. And even a Doom. The Juggernaut, the Shadow Fiend survives completely. Now Elijah will be the next victim for this team. And Anji seem to be recovering pretty nicely. The net worth still not going in their favor, but they're getting kills left and right. Exactly what they were looking for, right? Utilizing that extra team fight advantage to, you know, for good things. Yoku's being charged, but I think that's just to give vision, and so that Assassinate can come out. Yoku's going to start healing up. He is none the wiser about this charge happening. I don't think this is the best of ideas, especially next to a shrine, but he did just waste the shrine, and Nisha did just grab a haste, so this could be a kill on Yoku. The TP's coming in any second. He sees this. The wards, oh god, Yoku, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are the TP's? They're not going to help because there's no tier 2. They have to go to the shrine, but Yoku's taking way too much damage. Those headshots are starting to pile on, and Yoku will lose his life to the power of the Spirit Breaker. One of the longest charges I've ever seen. He actually respawned, started charging the Darkseer just for vision, and then said, fuck it, why not? I'll keep charging him until the game ends. And they got the kill, so that's pretty good. And with this Kakor actually seemingly going for a Midas, that's not a bad idea. You get the 120 gold per minute sooner, which is what you need, honestly. Seeing a Lotus Orb and Shiva's 4-stab Link, all those useful items. Even Ag's actually not that bad of an idea. That kill on the Darkseer was quite hard. I mean, they crushed Yoku completely in this early game. The Shadow Fiend has managed to recover pretty decently, and that's pretty good for Pikachu. But the Hurricane Pike is not come out yet on Mr. Pikachu. And he's gonna go for Shadow Blade first. So they're planning on going for a bit more team fight, a bit more ganking potential. I like this. If you're gonna force constant 5 versus 5, you're gonna have a tough time because the enemy team can just see right through that and not want to fight the 5 versus 5, do a bit of split pushing, and with the Troll Warlord, that ability is entirely there. However, what Anji decided to do here is going for a Shadow Blade, saying, okay, if you're going to split push, try to go for smoke ganks, my Shadow Bladed Shadow Fiend will catch out. Shadow Bladed Shadow Fiend. Say that 3 times really quick. And he'll catch out anyone out in the lane, and obviously he's to destroy him with the Requiem of Soul. So that idea is not bad. Trying to counter the enemy team's strategy before they actually execute it and screw you over completely. Juggernaut went for the extra damage. Oh no, that's a dead Disruptor. Goodbye, Disruptor. And that means no Static Storm for this next team fight. He's a very low level. And Singularity, is looking bad now for Anji. Because, yeah, sure, the team fight's better. I keep saying that. But right now, with the push of the Troll Warlord, you're going to have a hard time dealing with this team. And though Chu wants to initiate, he has no Epicenter to do so. He has 1 point, though. Should have 1 point for Epicenter. So I think he's just saving it up. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, he's saving it up as a Burrow Strike, and please just grab Epicenter. There's no reason not to grab it at this point. Sidoi, careful in the bottom lane. Oh no, they catch Pikachu. He doesn't have a Shadow Blade. He is actually just doomed. And the charge pushes him back into the trees. That was the hope, but no. The Nether Strike pushes him back into the Ancients. They're gonna even join in, and Pikachu will be destroyed by the freezing power of a Crystal Maiden. No, actually it was Patos who got him. That doom, that in being burned by Hellfire and then frozen by ice must be so confusing for the Doom. Definitely died there. Taking down the ward. Good job, No Fear, but of course, Kakor will be going for the kill immediately, as No Fear can't do much again except for glimpsing him, but he didn't choose to do that earlier, so No Fear is going to go down. Even the Assassinate just to give a bit of vision. Chu now wants to commit suicide too, because why not? The Assassinate comes in, he's about to die, the Urn will finish him off, and that extra damage to the Crystal Maiden wasn't even needed to kill the Sand King, because Anji is actually really under-leveled right now. Their supports are both cannon fodder for the Singularity guys, because your supports are Spirit Breaker and a Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden is cannon fodder no matter what, but she has powerful spells. However, and Spirit Breaker is just a tank, honestly. Sand King and Disruptor require much more levels, many more levels, and you expect them to actually get many more levels in the early game, but of course this game it hasn't been happening because Singularity has been crushing them so hard. So congrats to them, right to them. And that's going to work out well for the guys at Singularity. I mean, this lineup really worked well. I was saying in the draft, of course you didn't hear me, but I was saying in the draft that it's all down to execution by Singularity. It all depends if they can actually utilize this early game well, and they can take a huge advantage from them. Of course, this is a bit harder because, or for both, this is a bit harder in most situations because, of course, that requires a lot of effort from your hand. It's not just standing around the lane. It's getting a lot of ganks early game, knowing what to do with these ganks. But they've been doing exactly that. They've spread out when needed. They've joined forces when needed. They fought multiple team fights against the Sand King and still won. The only thing is that Anji can always turn this around. Their late game is much better, or not much better, but it's slightly better than Singularity's. And more importantly, their mid game is considerably better. If they can get those wombo combo off and get Yoku to be a relevant hero at all. He decided to skip the Guardian Greaves completely just to go for Solar Crest. And mind you, I love Solar Crest. It's a great item. Don't buy it over Guardian Greaves though. That's a poor man's Darkseer. It's not because he wants to. Obviously, he wouldn't have gone for this if his early game hadn't been so bad. Solar Crest gives you the ability to, you know, actually have an impact in the game without needing many items. So it's not bad. But of course, Yoku wouldn't want to go for this. He's really poor. It's poor man's Darkseer completely, and he's not getting any help from this. In fact, I don't know. I don't think the Guardian Greaves are a good idea anymore on this hero. I think the Blink Dagger is better just to get some initiation on your team, because you are in a desperate position where if Yoku continue to snowball out of control and utilize the Troll well, the Troll gets to a point. It does get to a point in the game where the Troll, especially with Sanji and Yasha, can not only chase down your heroes, but outfarm most of your heroes, including the goddamn Shadow Fiend, because you have no minus in your team. Oh, however, this is looking bad. This is looking bad for Singularity. This is a smoke gang, and the Glimpse catches the sniper. Is a perfect target. Nisha was going to be mowed down by the damage from Sidoi, and the Requiem of Souls is even being used. Static Storm to set up that beautiful Requiem, and now they stun the Troll. Who are you hitting, Troll, they say, as they come in with the epicenter, and the ground rumbles as Pikachu continues to fight here, finally dies to the Requiem of Souls. Omni Slash was reserved for this last very moment, and Patos will not die, but the Crystal Maiden will die as a result there. They have no more mana left in the Sand King, and you can clearly tell why Singularity is winning the game, because they just have better levels here. But of course, the damage from Sidoi and beautiful vacuum from Yoku stopping Kakor allows them to win that team fight. Getting that kill onto the sniper first was crucial, and then the Troll Warlord fighting in the middle of the Static Storm, he was not expecting that. Once he got the Fervor stacks, he was hoping to keep fighting. That's why you're wondering. I bet you're wondering this. Why the hell did the Static Storm come up so late? You know, the Requiem of Souls was happening. Partially it's because the Disruptor wasn't there, but the other partially... Oh, that reminds me. Just in case. Yeah. The other reason why it wasn't so important is because, of course, the Troll Warlord had his Fervor stacks. You don't want to move when once you have your 7 Fervor stacks on. That takes a long time to actually pile up. It's a lot of attack speed. It's 210 extra attack speed, and when you move, you lose it all. If you move enough, right? So the Static Storm forced him to keep attacking in the same place, still receiving the damage to the Static Storm, and of course being silent, so he can't just change stances or use his Whirling Axes. And from there, he actually dies. So it's a beautiful, beautiful play by No Fear. Honestly, I wasn't a believer in this guy, but I mean, he's been playing really well this game. Disruptor is one of his best heroes, and you can tell why he's one of his best heroes, because he gets team fights like these. However, SNG, like I said, or Singularity, is still winning, because of course the early game was so much better, and you can see in that team fight that even though Anji did a much better team fight and executed much better than what Singularity did, they could still win the team fight, or Singularity could have still destroyed Anji, and they could have just gotten 1 or 2 more kills. Because they had the power to do so. They have the extra levels, they have the extra net worth, and that's much better than what the enemy team has. That Dark Series is nullified completely. And though usually at minute 20 you'd rely on those Iron Shells, the vacuum, the natural movement of the Darkseer to kind of crush your enemies and take advantage of that, and this game is not going to be possible as much, because of course the Darkseer, it does not have the necessary levels or necessary net worth to actually compete with the enemy offlaner. Mind you, even the enemy support is too strong for the Darkseer. Exotic Deer decides it's time to go for the Roshan with his Solar Crest available, and I think that's a Doom. Yeah, he doesn't really need any items, so that's fine. Wait for the plus 80 Doom Devour Gold. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, that's insanely good. It gives you 180 gold every time you devour. That's ridiculous. That's a Midas for free. Oh, in they go with the Epicenter, plus the Vacuum. That's actually really good. The Berserk as well stuns all 3, but the damage is just not enough. The Omisis has to come out. It destroys the Roshan, but doesn't get the Aegis in time. They will kill 1, now 2, and now 3. The guys of Singularity are losing people left and right, and all they can do here is take down the Crystal Maiden, or sorry, bring the Crystal Maiden, and try to kill Pikachu with Cockroach damage, but it's a bit hard. They need to Frostbite him. Pikachu will go down. Crystal Maiden as well, thanks to the Requiem of Souls from the dying Shadow Fiend, and now the Wall Replica to slow down the Spirit Breaker and get that team wipe. Team Singularity will take down the Roshan. I was actually wrong. They took down the Roshan, but Anji grabs that Aegis, and that was actually on Chu. He lost in the middle of the team fight, so wrong team that grabbed the Aegis, but wrong team that grabbed the Roshan. But overall, beautiful team fight. Great Vacuum, Berserk on top of them, the Omni Slash as well, adding so much damage against what Singularity was offering. And honestly, there, the Sniper, the Troll, and the Doom melted. They just melted in that little circle. They couldn't do anything. And they obviously had the Kinetic Field as well later on to just make sure that they wouldn't leave. The Glimpse also screwed over the Doom there. They couldn't even use a proper Doom that actually killed them. It keeps being used in the Shadow Fiend. It's not really that effective, so. Oh, cheers, man. Cheers, Potato 234. I appreciate that. I actually have a lot of experience casting. I just always do it in Spanish. I'm actually work for BTS in Spanish, so maybe that's why I have a bit more precision with my camera. I also have the assisted camera. It looks nice. My stream, we use it for BTS as well, so maybe that's why. I don't want to shit on other casters, but that's kind of true. I have a lot of experience just casting in Spanish, and now I'm doing it in English because, well, why not? It's fun. Maybe TI8. Woo. But thanks, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Potato 238. That said, the guys from Anji right now are not doing that badly, surprisingly. Singularity is actually doing pretty well. In fact, Anji's actually doing really well, because what Anji's doing right now is keeping Singularity at bay, trying to get to the late game, and getting expensive items as well. That's an interesting factor. The Shadow Blade is a really good late game item, surprisingly enough, over Blink Dagger or other mobility items, because it does give you a lot of stats. Hurricane Pike similarly. You can always sell it, mind you, but it's a decent late game item in the sense that it does give you enough stats when it's upgraded to Silver Edge to be relevant in the late game. Now he's going for Butterfly as well, another expensive item. The Juggernaut has the ability to go for after Diffusal Blade and the Manta Style, possibly a Scotty, and they're going to have that ability to just keep on snowballing and snowballing in their late game against heroes that don't like expensive items, like Troll Warlord, BKB, Vlad, Sanjay, Yasha. Not expensive. Not really effective in the late game either. The Sniper might have a bit more effect in that regard. But he's going for a weird build himself, going for a Silver Edge, apparently, to... Actually, don't really understand the Silver Edge. There's some uses for the Silver Edge Sniper that I can sort of see, which is partially you have the escape mechanism, so that's really nice. The escape mechanism for the Silver Edge can be useful if they don't dust you. And on top of that, you also have the... on top of that, you also have, of course, the fact that the Silver Edge takes out the passives. But even that's not that big a deal, because you don't have that great passes. Maybe the Necromastery, or some degree the Blade Dance. Oh, actually, careful, Nisha might die. Ooh, the first, like, they go up into the cliff. That doesn't matter. That was just for style points, and they get the kill on the Sniper quickly. However, an important factor that you have to consider when taking the Silver Edge is the fact that it gives you 50% damage reduction on whatever hero you're targeting. Imagine the Shadow Fiend uses Requiem of Souls, you're the Sniper, and you have your Silver Edge activated, and you just see him. You know you can't stop him because there's no way of stunning him out. And you screw him over with Silver Edge, because that reduces the damage of Requiem of Souls by 50%. Even if it's a full Requiem, that's only an 18 soul. It goes from 36 souls to 18 soul Requiem. And we all know that 18 soul Requiems aren't that powerful. Sure, you still get the debuffs in both movement speed and damage, but the Silver Edge might be useful to stopping his damage itself. Not a bad idea, and certainly a consideration. Now, another important factor here. It's actually going pretty well for Anji right now because even though the difference in net worth is considerable, it doesn't seem like it's concentrated too much on the cores. It's actually more the difference is coming mainly from the Disruptor versus Spirit Breaker here comparison. Both the Crystal Maiden and Sanking supports are equal, but the Disruptor versus the Spirit Breaker are actually a huge difference, if you notice, because this Spirit Breaker has like around 4,000 gold more. And granted, the Spirit Breaker should be compared with the Crixalis or the Sanking. I understand that, but you get the idea here, right? It's a 4,000 difference, mainly concentrated on the support, and mainly concentrated on support that just got Midas and Urn. Not that many utility items, not going for a Blade Mill, not the most useful item either. And you also have a Doom, who's going to be farming pretty well and beating the Darkseer. And again, he's not that relevant because he only went for Solar Crest. That dance. He only went for Solar Crest and, you know, Blink Dagger. He's okay, but he's not as relevant as, for example, Darkseer in the late game. So, right now, Anji are much more even than it seems like. They've recovered pretty well in the early game, and they got Pikachu to actually build his Butterfly in a pretty decent timing. His gold per minute is around 500 gold per minute. That is not bad at all for a Shadow Fiend, even though, especially if he's losing, right? And with that Butterfly, oh god, the Troll Warlord is going to hate his life. He's going to hit him like 16 times and think, why are out of my attacks, you know, 12 not hitting? It's actually really annoying, especially because you rely on those bashes. Say... Interesting factor about Dota and mathematics. We'll see the skill first, and then we'll go. Kakor sees this, by the way. That sentry was available. The glimpse. Oh, Kakor just stood around while the Shadow Fiend started hitting him, and he was really confident about that. Completely forgot about the glimpse. Even Static Storm committed to that, but well, that's a free tower, so definitely worth it. Anyway, an interesting thing about Math of Troll Warlord. The bash is calculated as the same time as the hit is... So... When Dota calculates if the hit is going to hit or miss, because the enemy team has evasion, it also calculates that the bash is going to happen or not. At the same time, it can proc, right? Of course, if it doesn't proc, then it gives you more chance if it's a pseudo-random chance. But for Troll Warlord, it shouldn't be a pseudo-random chance, if I'm mistaken. It should be just a random chance of his bash, which is so low, 10%. Usually doesn't use pseudo-random chance. Meaning that if your bash does proc, and they happen to evade the hit, you're screwed, and you just lost that bash for no reason. Yeah. In the pseudo-random chance, it's a bit more even, otherwise no, so evasion really screws over the troll, especially because if you're meant to bash him at a certain time to perma-stun your enemy team, or enemy hero, which is very likely because you're going against a Shadow Fiend, well, Troll can't do that anymore. Troll can't do that, really, because, of course, the evasion will screw him over there. And he doesn't like going for Bloodthorn. He could go for Bloodthorn, or alternatively go for MKB. The Sniper, similarly, is actually going for MKB straight up. It's not a bad idea just to counter the Shadow Fiend, and Sniper with MKB is really good, honestly. It's one of the better items on him. Getting that stun to stop TPs is really useful, so it's not entirely a bad item. Troll Warlord doesn't really like going for MKB too much, though he can utilize the extra attack damage pretty usefully, or the proc chance, the mini stun chance, because he has a lot of attack speed. He'd really rather not have to go for such an item and go for cheaper items. In this case, Anji and Yasha. I think he wants to go for the Scotty as well after the BKB. It's pretty nice. Singularity, please don't throw this game. No, they're not throwing this game. It's just Anji playing really well. I gotta give it to Anji. They're playing really well. I mean, this team started getting known because Hobost started playing in it, and everyone was like, oh, Hobost new team, Hobost new team. But in reality, I always trusted in most of Anji's players. No Fear is playing out of his mind this game. And oh, Pikachu got cut out, Frostbite, he has 2 Requiem of Souls, gonna try it, but oh no, that Sniper will cancel it with an Assassinate. What is the best way to cancel a channeling spell? Death. Because then there's no way they can channel it ever again. And that's exactly what they got there. The Requiem of Souls, not successful. They only get the Death Requiem, which wasn't even that big a deal, because it's only half your souls. And now in the top lane, I think Chu has just committed suicide. Yep, Kakor finds him. They have a Sentry. Frostbite also available. Doom even joins. They have the Purge in case the Sanking tries to do something, but of course, that was never going to happen. That's 2 kills for Singularity, trying to get that advantage back up. Wait, Crystal Maiden went for the... Wow, Ghost Scepter. I mean, I would really rather go for Glimmer Cape before Ghost Scepter, just because it has more effectivity. Even the drums are weird. But of course, if you go for the plus 60 damage, well, screw it. The drums and Ghost Scepter, I guess, help you hit a bit harder because of the extra stats and whatnot. It's not too great, though. It's not too great. The Glimmer Cape plus Ghost Scepter seems like a better option here, just to have the both options. You know, Glimmer Cape somewhere, Ghost Scepter yourself, or vice versa. Actually, no, you can't Ghost Scepter someone else, but you can't Ghost Scepter like yourself and still Glimmer Cape yourself if needed. You get the idea, right? You can use both in yourself and be immune to magical damage and physical, mainly. And since Anji has a really good combination of both magical and physical damage, getting both Glimmer Cape and Ghost Scepter seems like a right idea this game. That's it. NKB on Pikachu. Alright, that's looking good for him. SNG decides to be going for Roshan. This one comes with cheese, so it's much more valuable than the average Roshan. In fact, it doubles its value. Interestingly enough, if you actually count the cheese, it's worth 500 gold, so it's not bad. If you give it to someone, it's a good sell. But some people might start doing that now that Roshan, second Roshan actually gives you cheese. The cheese so early on is not that useful, honestly. So And now, minute 28, yes. But of course, if you're taking Roshan, it's like minute 10, minute 20 or so, which is like the soonest you would take a Roshan. Assuming, say you have an Ursa or Troll lineup, you get the second Roshan by minute 20. You might see people start selling cheese. Just saying. It could be a possibility. It would be a crazy thing to do. And of course, it's going to be one of those casts where Toby goes like, oh my god, they just sold the cheese. I can't believe they sold the cheese. But of course, besides that, I can imagine that happening completely. This game is not going to happen. That cheese is very valuable, especially giving it to a sniper, because the sniper doesn't like having the Aegis. Honestly, the sniper dies and he comes back. He's like, well, I can hit you, or I can hit you a bit harder, but that's it. The Aegis does not going to help me too much besides that. However, the cheese allows you, say they're hitting you from afar with stuns or they glimpsed you or whatever. The cheese gives you the option to use it or not to use it. That's why the sniper. I mean, the sniper knows when he's in a bad position, he's screwed. He can't do anything about it. He just stays in that position and dies. The cheese allows you to pick if you die or not, right? So say they catch you in a bad position where the Sand King burrow strikes you and then they glimpse you back and then you're between like 5 enemies. You don't have to use your cheese, you're okay. However, and that could happen to the sniper and wouldn't even be a misplay because the glimpse is just gonna cancel you. However, say the Juggernaut like jumps right at you with his blink dagger and Omni slashes you, but everyone else is fighting in the front line, you know? Much like the Roman soldiers. You're like the archers there. Actually, the archers used to be in front of the Roman soldiers, beyond the point. Imagine the sniper gets jumped on and then Omni slash him. You can use the cheese and survive that team fight just because you use the cheese, and you still have the option, like I said, to be able to survive. However, it seems like Anji are going to be taking this Roshan, and Singularity, okay, no, Singularity finally going in. Shrapnel, a bit too late, the Roshan is taken, the cheese. Oh, wait a second, did they just get the Roshan? They actually just took the Roshan, Singularity with a Shrapnel, and now they start fighting. Exotic Deer joins in, kills Disruptor first, Yoko will be the second victim. The Burrow Strike will only give a couple more seconds to chew, because a big bad Doom is running after him. However, the Juggernaut in the backlines wanted to deal a bit of damage, and was forced to retreat completely with his Blink Dagger, and his Stolen Aegis, technically a Stolen Aegis, because goddammit, the Sniper actually got the last hit with his Shrapnel. That is ridiculous. I've never seen that in the whole history of Dota. You've never seen that. A Shrapnel Roshan? Jesus. Especially with the magic resistance it has. Anyway, Pikachu comes in, good Requiem of Souls, now the Omesis comes out, and Exotic Deer is trying to, split the damage together with Nisha. However, it's not going to be successful. The Vacuum with the Ball Replica hurts the two supports, but right now, their objective is to kill the Juggernaut. He has the Aegis and will be able to survive. The two illusions are destroying Exotic Deer, and he has no Aegis to make him survive. He has to try to go back with the TP, but will not be able to. In fact, Singularity will be losing 2, and now Yoku is looking for some more. In comes No Fear with a very aggressive TP. Kako just goes past them, says, I don't want anything to do with this, but he'll let Patos die. The Blade Fury plus the Iron Shoals, too much damage. The Burrow Strike just to finish him off, and the guys from Anji will be taking a couple nice kills there and forcing, I mean, they forced the buyback. Singularity forced the buyback from the Darkster. But of course, Singularity lost 4 heroes there in a team fight that was pretty much won by them, and they did take an Aegis as a result. But that Aegis could have been yours. Well, I mean, the Roshan was yours, so it's not that great, frankly, for Singularity. I don't think that was such a great team fight. In fact, especially when you're winning by so much, I would expect a bit more for this team. What is Yoku doing here? He has a Vacuum. Why are you harassing Kakor so heavily? Jesus, Yoku. Is he just playing with him? He just actually blinked away from the charge, just like nothing mattered. Oh yeah, I'm showing net worth. If I ever don't show net worth, don't worry. It's because I'm talking about something specific, and I will show net worth eventually. I like switching between the stats. I feel like a lot of casters don't talk about many stats besides net worth, hero level, and last hits in the early game, and that's it. So I like going and swapping. Gold per minute is really useful as well. Noting, because gold per minute actually, fun fact about analysis, gold per minute tells you more or less if a player is executing decently or not and how they're doing in the game relative to the average game. What do you mean with that? Well, consider this. If you're watching an SCA game, you'll think that, for example, because they have low net worths, but everyone's around the same, you're seeing it in a ranking, you'll think, oh, well, they're doing fine. But if you look at the gold per minute, you'll realize that they're very low as opposed to the national average or the average for Dota, and you'll think, wait, what's up? And then you'll realize that SCA actually plays much more aggressively, and that's why the gold per minute is considerably lower than the net worth. Because net worth is hard to say, but gold per minute is much easier to as a staple. Oh, Static Storm, can't just play with a Vacuum, but of course, that's not going to be enough because the Shadow Fiend's already dead. Now the Juggernaut finally joining in, but the Troll Warlord is way too strong and managed to destroy 3 in that team fight. Yoku just feels powerless against these BKBs. Sedoi also has to leave, and there's nothing right now that Anji can do to kill the remaining heroes. In fact, if Exotic Deer finds anyone, that would be an easy kill. Sedoi is lucky enough to have built a Blink Dagger so early. That was a really wise choice by Sedoi, by the way. Going straight up Blink Dagger after that Manta-style Diffusal Blade, yeah, that works well. That said, Sedoi should be going for Scotty next, or some sort of expensive item. Butterfly is also a consideration. But considering the sniper is already built MKB, I don't think I don't think Butterfly's a great idea. In fact, go for Scotty. Everyone go for Scotty. 2 Skies in your team. Who cares? We're also seeing an MKB built by Shadow Fiend. I can only imagine because a Butterfly might be coming out on the Troll. No, maybe it's just to stop the Solar Crest from the Doom. Could be. Or a potential Butterfly in the future. I don't think they have any evasion talents, do they? No. So. Yeah, that's I mean, now that the smoke is cleared, it's hard to say either if SNG or Anji even have the lead right now. Yeah, I know the net worth lead is definitely going for Singularity, but it's not that clear. It really isn't, because the difference between the cores is it's nothing. Like I said, it's definitely the difference in the supports mainly that's making this a thing. And the Doom, considering he has the 180 gold per minute, or not really per minute, even less, per 40 seconds. It's insane that Patos has farmed so much. So little, sorry. So little, because he's only a bit below the Shadow Fiend, who shouldn't be... I mean, he shouldn't be that on their farmed. He should be much more farmed. In fact, he should be top, like an Enigma would, or like an Omnight would if he got Midas. Then again, like I said, this is not SCA. They don't actually street fight constantly. This is much more of a calculated team fight potential. So every single team fight is either a team wipe on one side or a team wipe on the other. It's not much. There's not as many pickoffs in this style of Dota, which is not bad. It's just a different style of playing. I mean, CIS Dota is my favorite Dota, so yeah. It's a pity that I don't get to cast all the games. I just love CIS Dota. These guys are great. Watching Sedoy, man. I watched Sedoy ever since he was in Rock's Kiss. I don't know if you guys are fans of the old Dota or anything, but or Rock's Kiss. Do you even remember that? I started following Rock's Kiss when they were in Brood War, and then watching them in Dota was great because they were like the dark horse, always beating everyone. Because Empire was the top CIS team, and then Sedoy comes out in the last iteration of it was Yo Sedoy. I believe Yoku actually even played in that. Sedoy used to play support for that team, and then he changed to carry. Man, is his carry good. His Juggernaut is absolutely fantastic. He's been leading his team, this guy. And watching him, come back, and Anji, and what was the team he was playing in earlier? That wasn't... he did pretty well. Was it Flipside? Flipside as well. That was Sedoy as well. And never quite getting there, always being at the fringe, but being like that tier 2 gatekeeper. Sedoy has played in so many teams. Just a pleasure to watch him. He continues to improve his craft. That's the best part about finding a player and knowing him for a long time. Like, No Fear is also a player that's been playing for quite a while. And you watch him now in Anji, you think, oh, you've really grown. Or Pikachu, compared when he was in EPG instead of Anji, because Anji was like pretty much his second team, if I'm not mistaken. Pikachu pretty much started in EPG and stayed there for the longest of times, and he didn't do much. He was good, but he wasn't like a standout performance. And now with the Shadow Fiend's been playing quite well. Of course, everyone knows Yoku in his competitive career. Similarly, in Team Singularity, you also have Exotic Deer, and I do believe he also comes from EPG, if I'm not mistaken, at least one of their iterations. And Exotic Deer is a fantastic player, and we already saw a lot of potential with him in EPG, and now he continues to dazzle us. And one thing he's worked a lot on specifically Exotic Deer is item timing. Used to be a weak thing because he had Ursa. He used to love to play Ursa, Troll, Juggernaut, and those guys required items. Well, actually, Sven as well. Sorry, Sven as well. And those guys either required a BKB or Ads, or even the Enrage itself. And he used to mess up the timings often back when he used to play on EPG. Not too often, but sometimes. And it'd say, oh, okay, well, that's an issue. This game, I haven't seen that at all. The BKB has not been activated a single time where I thought, oh, that's terrible. So, Exotic Deer really growing as a player. Definitely going to be a hard catch later on. I mean, Team Singularity technically comes from the lower brackets, or upper brackets, so they've done something right, mind you. You can't just say that they're bad. Because they've beaten other teams, and they also went through the group stages, right? Okay, Pikachu has been Shadow Bladed. Oh, rooted. Attack from Exotic Deer. Another help from the Freezing Field. That's done. Will last forever. And Exotic Deer doesn't even care about the bulk the Shadow Fiend could be building. The cheese was not used pretty intelligently. But Singularity will be getting a kill onto the Shadow Fiend. And with a 10,000 net worth lead, this is just setting them up for the next Roshan. Mini comeback, they say. This is setting Singularity up for the next Roshan, and this next Roshan, very valuable for Singularity. I mean, you have Patos here with the Shivas being built, so he is going to be pretty active in the next team fights. Anji, on the other hand, they have not built many items except for the Scotty and Sedoy, right? So they're kind of concentrating on their carries. The offlaner has already designed as a very important carry. He's going for Shivas himself. He's had to go for Lincolns just to withstand some of the damage the Doom has, mainly the Doom, I can only imagine. The Lincolns is also useful to help someone else, being putting the Lincolns to someone. Lotus Orb won't stop the Doom, and it actually doesn't matter because the Doom doesn't care too much about his skills. The Doom will sacrifice his own, well, Doom himself if he can Doom someone like the Juggernaut, for example, at the beginning of a team fight, or even a Disruptor. Okay, will Roshan respond in 4 seconds? We'll see in a second. Oh, it's in a minute. I actually can't tell. It was going to respond in 10 seconds. Yeah, oh, it's responding now, so this is going to be really important. Roshan for Team Singularity. apologies. Just had to answer the door real quick. You know, I am a caster, but I also live another life. No, I do apologize for that. But the guys from Singularity here will be continuing to farm the jungle, trying to take a bit more of their advantage, and waiting for that second Roshan. I don't think they know what's up. In fact, they shouldn't know what's up, because it usually never appears at that time. But, oh, there's Lucky. Cockro's like, wait, what? There's a Roshan there. And he has to look twice just to confirm. But Exotic Deer will be going and blinking right into that Roshan under the enemy fog, knowing that they can take it against Anji. And there it is. The damage from the troll is considerable. The Solar Crest also helping out. The damage from Cocker is also decent as well at this point, because he has a Shadow Blade and a Midas, of course, to help him out. And with this, I think that Roshan is going to go down. And this time, it's not going to be a stolen Roshan. There's going to be anything snatched. In fact, this game, there's been 2 snatched Aegis. I don't know, Nahaz, please. But tell me exactly... No, I don't want to say Nahaz. There's no Nahaz here. But it'd be nice to know exactly how many Aegis were snatched total in a game. But 2 Aegis is a lot. A lot of snatching. Even if it's not technically legal, because, well, though one of the Roshans will kill by shrapnel. I mean, Jesus. And that doesn't even count, right? So, that was a pretty ridiculous Aegis steal. So, it's not necessarily Aegis steals, but there were 2 Aegis technically snatched this game. A lot of profile views. At least the guys from Anji are getting a lot of profile views. Not much money, but profile views is pretty good, right? Equate fame to money. Okay. Now, Pikachu with the butterfly. Sorry, not the butterfly, the MKB is the next item. It's taking quite a while to build this up. I don't see exactly why he wants the MKB, besides to kill the Doom with a Solar Crest. It's an alright item on Shadow Fiend. It's never a bad item on Shadow Fiend. You can stop DPs and whatnot. That's pretty useful. Besides that, oh, they see him. They don't have a sentry, though, actually. Okay, so they saw him before. I don't know how exactly they saw him. I thought they had a gem of some sort. Oh, they do have a gem. Oh, sorry, Cocker saw him. They said he was assassinate. Try to attack him as soon as possible, but of course, they don't get the charge in time, and the Shadow Fiend manages to escape. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the Crystal Maid is pushing alone, and Anji say, goodbye, Crystal Maid. Look at that. They even pinged this out, saying this is probably what she's going to be. No, she's not. Crystal Maid, I don't think she's going to survive this, honestly, because she's really slow. No, wait, Chu sees her. Blink tagger. Oh, there's Elijah. Blink, blink. No, no, too afraid. Not knowing if Crystal Maiden actually had allies around there. They decides to let her pass. And instead, they'll continue to farm this bottom lane, keeping the unity as 5. Because they don't want to lose another team fight. And the best way to do it is just, well, team fighting as 5, right? Instead of going for a 4 versus 5, you use a superior attack with the Sand King and, of course, the Shadow Fiend. And they, well, just wreck Singularity, of course. You also have a lot of physical damage against Singularity. The Sniper has a decent agility game, but not the best, so the armor in the late game is a bit weaker. Oh, Batos was caught out. And with the Solar Crest, he can't really stop the damage from the Omnislash from coming out, but he does use the BKB, though. Will he survive this? The Scotty is slowing it down considerably. He has to use the Doom, mutes on the Juggernaut. Malastatic Storm comes in and stops the damage from the Spirit Breaker. That's all they're going to do. In fact, the Sniper is destroying Pikachu, tearing him to shreds with his little machine gun, and they even block the Epicenter. Anji are just all over the place, super chaotic, unable to get anything out, and even the Assassinate comes out, but okay, that's just gonna be blocked by Lincoln Sphere. Good job, Yoku, there, saving your teammate. Now, SNG, Singularity, starting to take the racks, and with a Troll Warlord, this is gonna be easy pickings. I mean, 17,000 net worth to their name. They are more than happy this game. They want to take game number 2 and prove to Anji that their win in the winners brackets, or their coming up from the winners brackets, was not just a fluke. They deserve this spot, and that's why Exotic Deer starts flinging axes, or knives, actually. Are those knives? I think he's flinging combat knives to the towers and slowly breaking them down. Elijah even survives the attack from the Shadow Fiend because of her Ghost Scepter, but she's being vacuumed back. Doesn't really care. They actually kill the Shadow Fiend already, and now Kakor has to try to retreat here from the damage that the enemy team could put out, but they actually have nothing because, of course, the damage from Singularity is making the Anji guys back out, and they go for the tier 3s down bottom, but they've lost a lot in their team fight. They don't want to fight again. Actually, the enemy team is going to force a fight for Singularity. There's a charge, breaks the kinetic field. Sidoi wants to fight, but Exotic Deer is already here, and they're all going to destroy Exotic Deer. Sorry, they're going to destroy poor Sidoi. That Juggernaut lost HP so quickly. Exotic Deer didn't even see him, you know, exist. And with that, they can take him down quite easily. Exotic Deer still has the Aegis, by the way, so yeah, attack him all you want. He doesn't care. He's gonna come fighting Sidoi. It's a Troll Warlord. He's just gonna destroy you down. And Sniper already kills the Disruptor. Static Storm was already thrown out, though, with an Aghanim, so this poor Doom can't actually do anything. The Burst comes out. They catch on the Sniper. He has the cheese, has to eat it, and will do it in time, as he now continues to fight Yoku while Sidoi is being harassed by the Troll, and he couldn't go anywhere. The Troll stops him in his tracks, and the guys from Anji will lose the team wipe. That is a rampage for Nisha, and GG well played will come out fight Anji. Game number 2 will be taken by them against Singularity. And this is the best, sorry, game number 2 will take it by Singularity against Anji, beating them in their own game, winning the early game, and executing their draft to perfection. Congratulations, Team Singularity. Only thing they have to do is win one more game, and they'd be the winners of the ProDota Cup EU. If they lose, Anji will be taking this to a game number 5, where everything's on the table. So, guys, let's see what happens in the next game. My name's been DSwordfish. Hope you've enjoyed the cast, as per usual. Apologies for the beginning where I had myself muted, and we will be coming back soon with game number 3 between Anji and Singularity. Remember that Singularity comes here with a 1-game advantage, which is why they're actually winning 2-1. That said, guys, enjoy some tunes while we wait, and I'll see you guys very soon within the last game, or what could be the last game of the day. Until then.